Hi everyone, I'm Cecily. Welcome to my channel, The Lover's Astro and Tarot. This reading is for anyone whose sun, moon, or ascendant is in the beautiful sign of Gemini. Hi Gemini. You guys are kind of going through it this month. There seems to be a lot of loss around Gemini. Not all of you, but I will say, a majority, there's just very strong energy around you guys. So let's talk about exactly what came out, because out of your 4 cards that I pulled, you have the soulmate card, and you also have 3 major arcana, and they're all in reverse. So it's a really big deal. So the first card that actually came out for you is the 2 of Cups. So you guys know that I always read the card in the upright position, and then I flip it around so you understand kind of both sides of the coin and what's possible. So the 2 of Cups in the upright position is a card that's really about spiritual, sexual, emotional union. It is the soulmate card. It's a card that really does say, I've met my match, I found my match, I know who this person is. I can no longer even think about looking because there's no other option than this person. Now, when you get the 2 of Cups in reverse, it doesn't mean that you haven't found that person. But what it means is there's some type of rejection there. There's some type of loss there. This person is not ready either because they have emotional problems, drug problems, mental problems, family problems. It's going to be different for everybody. And to be honest, if you really want to work some stuff out around these issues, because some of these issues are karmic with you guys having all of these major arcana, give me a call and we can talk about it. But, the 2 of Cups is already a karmic card. It's already about, I'm just going to keep it in the upright position so you can see it. It's already about souls connecting. And not only in this life, but that soulmate that you have. I know people have different beliefs around soulmates. Some people think they have multiple soulmates. Some people think there's just one person. Some people think they happen every lifetime. Some people don't. But what I really find is your soulmate happens, it occurs. And I say occurrence because it connects very much to being ready. And when one of you is ready, regardless of the other, I find that the person shows up. And if the other person, because you're 2 parts of one whole, if the other person hasn't been doing the work that you've been doing emotionally and spiritually, they may fall in love with you, but they may not be ready, or they may completely deny their love for you because they're not ready, thinking that that is the correct and proper decision. And, everybody knows what it feels like to be heartbroken, but when you're going through something karmic, it's so much worse. It really does feel like you'll never be able to breathe again. Like, it's excruciating. And Gemini, I think you've had a lot of stuff, especially in January and December, that has been causing you pain emotionally. And this is something that, just tips you over. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. This is, something that makes you feel like you're on the edge of losing yourself, maybe. And for a Gemini, that's very hard to do because you're so logical and Most of the time you don't survive off of those emotions. You survive off of logic. You survive off of communication, and really being able to express yourself is your saving grace. But then you have this, this world card that's directly next to it, and the world card in reverse is the world card is a beautiful card. It's a beautiful energy in the upright position. But I have to say, it is one of my least favorite cards. So this is it in the upright position. And if you look, there's a type of wreath around this woman. And the wreath is meant to signify beginnings and endings. And the world is one of the last cards in the major arcana. And what it's trying to say is sometimes things come to an end by choice and we don't regret that ending. And sometimes, the new cycle that we're going through is what's best for us. We have to end things to begin new things. You have to let go of your old job to start your new job. You have to leave, maybe a toxic relationship to find the relationship that you honestly, truly want and deserve. But it's not easy to make those decisions. So when you have the world in reverse, it's, maybe this Two of Cups in reverse is toxic because this person is in a place in their life where he or she is not at a place where they can acknowledge love. And the world in reverse is when we stop a cycle from ending. We find a way to press reset when the option to let go should be our best option. And we do that to avoid a broken heart, but really it's not serving us, so it takes us down a darker road. There was a TV show called Dead Like Me, and one of the first episodes was about a woman who had to take a soul of a little girl, and she didn't want to do it. It was a little girl, she didn't have the heart to do it. But she would realize that if she didn't do it, the little girl would turn rotten and the little girl would spoil. Her soul would literally spoil in that storyline, of course. And that's kind of what it reminds me of. It reminds me of things spoiling, and instead of us letting go and standing in our power and being capable of letting go, we hold on to them. I think that also plays into the devil energy as well, because I know we always want to fix things. I know we always want things to be harmonious in our lives. Especially for a Gemini, you're always trying to, talk things through or work things out. But sometimes there are situations that we can't get ourselves through on our own, or there are situations where, we're not capable of changing them. And not only that, but when you get a reading with major arcana, when you get a large amount of them, it talks about the difference between choice and fate. And your reading, is very much about fate and about... Now, don't get me wrong, I do think that the law of attraction outweighs all of that. But when karma is very strong and we don't work through it beforehand, I think that there are certain things that are naturally bound to us. And that's kind of what you're going through, Gemini. You got to work through this karma. You got to get really spiritually grounded to really find out what's going on and how it's going to change your life, because you've got radical changes. And, I don't want you to go into this sort of deep emotional space and feel alone. And for a Gemini, that's a really big thing to feel. If you were a Cancer or if you were a Scorpio, the transition into this space might be a little bit easier for you, because you'd be what my brother calls deep waters, but you'd be used to swimming in those deep waters. But for you, you're very social, and you're usually in the shallow end of the pool where all the other fish are. So you want to make sure that you let go with that world, because if you don't, the devil shows up, and he shows up in reverse as well. So this is the devil in the upright position. And the devil, I actually like this card, but that's probably the Scorpio in me. The devil is about obsession. And when you get it in reverse, it's actually not a bad card, because it talks about letting go of obsession, and it talks about moving past things that we're obsessed over and that we are addicted to, and that, leave us wanting and needing more. So that part is actually really good. But the reason why I want you to be careful of this process is because the Moon card is directly next after it. And the Moon card is my least favorite card of all, actually, because it just talks about general confusion and feeling lost, and it also talks about loss of some sort. So maybe you don't lose your partner directly. Maybe they're just going through a hard time and you're there to support them. Or maybe you've lost somebody in your life that means something to you. Or maybe, you have emotional issues or something. I don't know. Let's just say, for example, you've realized that you're now in a place where you need to go to AA, or you're in a place where you're realizing, okay, whatever I've been doing is no longer good for me. The Moon signifies that instead of you working through it, you're kind of lost in this hazy place. Instead of saying, the devil says, you're willing to let go. But the Moon in reverse is saying, you're still in that dark place, but you're kind of ready to come out of it. So it's like all this stuff happens to you and it puts you in a negative place, and you really are trying to let go, but you're still at a place where you're still emotionally relying on this relationship that's not working for you. So you kind of want to look and see if you're being willing, Gemini. That's what I'll say. Because Gemini, you're always willing to work it out, but sometimes working it out isn't what's best for you. Sometimes leaving is what's best for you. And I don't think Geminis are really good at that. I think they have a tendency to stay. They have a tendency to say people make mistakes and to work through those mistakes because they're so open. They're so open that sometimes they accept the worst, and they shouldn't. So let's pull an outcome card and see what you guys get. Ooh, Okay, so you got another major arcana, but it did come out in the upright position, which is great. So it came out as the Empress. And the Empress is all about strength and power. So towards the end of the month, Gemini, maybe February 26th and on, I know it's only a couple of days, but still, you're going to start to take back the emotional power, and you're going to start to feel like yourself again. You might even feel more dignified than you normally do, and get to a space where you're no longer working around people's needs and wants. You're now at a place where you're decreeing things, and things are about, your own emotional health and your own welfare, which is not a bad thing. The only thing that I would offer is, when you make those strong decisions, just be very sure that it's best for you. And when I say that, I mean, don't make decisions based around everyone else and be strong based in the decisions around everyone else. Make sure that you're included in that. Make sure that this is something that will be really good for you as a person, spiritually getting to the place where you're moving on instead of recreating that cycle. So other than that, Gemini, I think you're going to do great, but it's a lot of energy and it's a lot of stuff going on. So take it in stride and you'll be just fine. I am giving readings this month. I'll be doing a special 15 minutes for $20. So if you're interested, please look in the comment box below. My number is there, as well as my email address. And when I do specials, I do book up really fast. So please feel free to give me a call. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Also, I'm going to really work on my next set of videos kind of early, so I'll keep you guys updated about that. And thank you so much, Gemini. Please, 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 work through your stuff. Don't leave it hanging. And I love you guys, and thank you so much for all of your likes, comments, and subscribes. Okay. Love you.